especially with this permits issue. Just yesterday we were talking to the e-hailing community. We spoke to the Tshwane NMC for transport, who also told us that he's in engagement with you in terms of the issue. Can we talk about the issue of permits and what is currently being done about it?
Last year, towards the close of the year, we established what we call a crisis committee on operating licenses in our province, and this was to assist us to isolate the challenges that are there. We started with the minibus taxis because the backlog is really experienced highly by them. So we were meeting with them just to try to understand what is the challenge, and in most cases, some operate without having the operating licenses. So we also need to clarify members of the public that you can't buy a taxi or a vehicle to want to operate a business without an operating license. So one of the biggest mistakes also made is those who go by and then they come and only make an application to register themselves as they are operating for reward and then use those receipts. So we are saying the receipts are only used by those with old operating licenses. When you are new, you are not supposed to operate because you need to first get the permit to be able to do it. And this is a challenge faced mainly by those who are providing door-to-door services like municipal transport service providers. We are meeting with them. We started meeting with them in different regions in our province. We are isolating the challenges they are faced with, and I'm glad that they are coming forward that we are operating illegally. Help us regularize ourselves. We are attending to their issue now. They are joining the crisis committee. We meet every Friday to deal with the issues as a department with them and different stakeholders like municipalities, because it's a whole value chain. There's different roles played by different government spheres to make sure that we issue out operating licenses in our province. So it's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of illegality, but we are happy that everybody now is coming to say, MEC, I have transgressed. How do you help us regularize ourselves? We are hopeful that we'll be able to deal with the issue working closely with other spheres of government.
Yeah, now MEC, yesterday the MMC for Tshwane Transport indicated that in your engagement there was some form of a 60-day crisis period to deal with the issue of the backlog of permits. How far are we with the backlog of permits? As yesterday, one of the grievances from the e-hailing service providers is that they might have made applications, but their cars are being impounded while they're waiting.
Like I said, I just clarified, when do you operate? You operate when you have, especially if you are new, when you have an operating license. When you are old, it has expired and you have renewed it, you operate using the old and the new and the receipt that you get. And it's 90 days, it's not 60 days. We are working through it throughout. One of the challenges, all our municipalities don't have what we call municipal registration entities. The ad hoc there and then the backlog is created by some amongst others is that, and I'm happy that in Tshwane they are very cooperative. The MMC is working closely with us to assist it. Really, the march of yesterday, we don't understand what prompted it, but the issue is on our table. We're addressing it. I go to various radio stations. She has met people who are complaining. She has compiled a list. She submitted it to us. We are checking whether they applied. A lot of them have not applied. They are new. So people write on, and sometimes people talk. Then when you want to follow up on the issues, there are no way in the system that have applied. And we're encouraging them, come, let us help you. Don't just publicly relate on the issue. We are here. We've opened us up ourselves. We have different structures sitting in the crisis committee so that we deal with the issues and they are able to give feedback to their members on real time and to get to understand what it is. But we do not want illegality. So no one must operate illegally under the guise that there's a backlog. When there's a backlog and you have done your things properly, we'll find you in the system. So those who are impounded, they are found on many other issues. So let us not use this issue as if there's a problem. There's no problem. Our law enforcement agencies are aware who must be impounded. It's not everyone, it's not a blanket approach.
Yeah, and now coming to the scholar transport, where in the early earlier in the week, they also expressed that they want some form of subsidy or help from government when it comes to the renewal of their cars, or rather buying new cars or upgrading their cars, just like it happens in the taxi system. And they say they're not getting the same treatment, and that they would also like some form of subsidy when they trade in their old cars. Is that something that you are engaging with them about?
They want us to buy them tires. So government needs to really prioritize. We've got kids who are coming from unfortunate backgrounds and who don't have uniform, who don't have food. And now a business person wants us to buy them tires, seats for cars. We can't do that. But we don't know who they are. They are fragmented. There has been in Gauteng, the Gauteng Education Transport Services. Then there's a new grouping again, the Greater Gauteng Learner Transport Organization. There's others who say we don't want to develop. So it's quite difficult to have conversations with people who are fragmented. And yesterday we started to say, how then do we deal with your governance issues? And how then do we integrate you and have a platform where we discuss your challenges as a sector? Because remember, they are providing a public service as private transporters to learners. And there are things that they're expected to be doing as and when they are rolling out their job. So yesterday we had a conversation. Who is Malume? Is Malume not if a person was convicted for rape? So I said we will work with different departments to make sure that we deal with the challenges within scholar transport. I know my colleague in education is supportive of what we've started. We're going to work closely with them, help them to coordinate themselves better, deal with their issues. The other issue is a transport policy, an integrated education transport policy. What kind of a vehicle must transport? Just this morning, when the team was doing operation, the things we see that are saddening, and we are starting to ask ourselves, do parents pay for this? Of course, this is not all of them. They are also raising this. There's infiltrators into the system who do also wrong things, who take kids from home and then they don't take them to school, they sit with them somewhere and drink. Of course, there's those who take an advantage because the January parents are frustrated. Then they take the monies, but they don't collect kids at school. And now we expect them because we know that where they park. There's also a whole lot of issues. So scholar transport, we just unpacked it. What is scholar transport? And we worked closely with them yesterday, and that's why we are saying they must join us, deal with crisis committee, but we must isolate the issues. There's an issue of police. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm transporting kids. Who are you? Don't you have criminal issues? Because these are children. Our children is our future. We can subject them to many other things that they are subjected to. And this is the start of starting to make sure that they are protected, especially within the scholar transport area.
Thank you so much, MEC.